Hi everyone, Lynn here for Flying Unicorn, and today I'm working on the Off the Page project. And I have to tell you that I really wasn't sure what I was going to do with this gorgeous seahorse, but I kind of ended up with a happy accident. So let me tell you what I did. First of all, I just put one light coat of gesso all over the piece, front and back. Um, I just was doing it, and so I kept on going on the back side. And I started to paint. You can see on this side here that it's kind of pink. And I'd started to paint. I was going to do kind of an opaque finish. And didn't like how the colors were working out. And at the time I was using the 13 Arts matte pink. And unfortunately didn't let it dry, or fortunately didn't let it dry in between, and added gesso on top and ended up with this very light pink, which I like. So I decided to take whatever was left on my brush and just spread it around all over the seahorse. So since this turned out to be a happy accident for me, I'm going to continue in that vein. So I am using 13 Arts paints today, and I did use the pink. That may be the last we'll see of that. I will also use the lime, probably the turquoise, the cobalt, and very possibly the lavender. You may see more colors added in. I'm really not sure. But I'm going to start off with the lime, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did this. I'm actually only taking a little tiny bit of paint because I'm going to mix it with the gesso. I want not really a wash, but I want my colors to be very pale. Sorry, got some crumbs there. So I am going to use more gesso probably than paint. Okay, so let me see if I can mix this aside here. I hope you can see that. It's a very, very pale color. That was the lime color, and I can always add more, but it's a lot harder to take away. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and dip into the lime with my brush, and I'm just going to start brushing it on everywhere. I mean, I'm not really paying attention to where I'm putting this color. I have an idea for how to make it all work in the end. So you're going to have to trust me on that one. Hopefully this turns out the way I see it in my head. So I'm adding more, and I'm going to add a little bit more white, and I'm going to just brush even over the areas that I've already done. Okay, so the goal here is for me to continue doing this with the paints that I've already described to you, and cover the entire piece. That's my goal. Now I might come back and add some of the same colors over top of what I'll be doing next, but that's what I'm going to continue to do. Now before I go on to the next color, it's very important that you dry this. So I will go ahead and heat set, and then I'll continue, and I will put you on fast forward and narrate as I need to. As you can see, I edited out all of the painting process, and there's a good reason for that. It's really not important. I know that may not make any sense, but it will in the next few steps. Right now I'm adding 13 Arts Cobalt as well as turquoise. The colors that I did use, that you didn't see me use, were the lime, the mint green, the pistachio, the matte green, and the blue. Like I said, it really doesn't matter what colors you use, and it really doesn't even matter where you put them. You just want the variety of color on your piece. Okay, so I forgot to turn the camera back on, so I'll just show you real quick what I did with the white. I'm using gesso, that's all I'm using. You can use paint if you want to use paint. Alright, I'm just going to put a little bit of white on the end of my brush, and I'm just following along the ridges, and then I'm coming back in on the sides like this. That's it, just to give it a little more definition. I'm fixing the spots that I missed, like right there. Okay, this is just going to highlight your piece a little bit more. The areas that I think are too green, I'm going to add some more. Okay, I'm back. Piece is pretty well dry now. This is the scary part to do. Um, if you have glazing liquid, that would be ideal to mix with your paint. Otherwise, use water, and that's what I'm going to use so that you can see how it works. I don't have any dark brown in the 13 Arts paint, so I'm using what I do have, which is the Liquitex. This is burnt umber, so this is as dark brown as I can get. And that's probably more than enough right there. And I'm going to squirt it with water. Since I'm using water, it requires more water. If you were using a glazing liquid, you don't need as much, obviously. You can see my paint's a little old. I might have to mix it with the brush. More water, a little bit more. You have to be careful when doing this because that piece is paper mache, and even though we protected it with gesso, it's still paper mache, so you don't want to overdo the water part. Alright, we're going to call that good. Alright, you need a rag. Okay, so if you're using water, you want to do this a little bit at a time. And I think I need more water than that. Yeah. Because obviously water dries faster than, well, it will dry faster than a glazing liquid. A glazing liquid is meant to give you time to play with it. Alright, so here we go. We're just going to paint the whole thing. But I'm going to do it in small batches since I'm using water. If you're using glazing liquid, you can do a lot more at once. It does allow you to do that. Alright. Now, the thing about this is that you want to put it on, and since it's water-based, okay, we want to take it off. And if you can't get enough of it off with your cloth, then go ahead and use baby wipes. This is why it's important for your piece underneath to be completely dry, because you don't want to take off that paint. Okay, now in some areas, obviously in the areas that have the white, I should probably be taking off a little bit more. So you'll go through a lot of baby wipes doing this, and you want to be careful about a demarcation line here, so just kind of soften up your edge if you can. You want to leave it darker in spots going towards the back. Okay. Alright, moving on to the next part. So I'm going to do this in here. And it's okay if you go over the area that you've already done. Just remember, it's much easier to take it off faster. I'm not saying that right. Take it off sooner. Okay. Rather than waiting. Unless you're using glazing liquid, you've got more playtime. Because you can always add more. If you wait too long in between, then it could dry up on you. Alright? So I'm going to keep doing that all the way around. The wonderful thing about this piece, which is made by Bare Naked Crafts, is that it has a lot of indentations, and all those little indentations are actually working for you here because they pull in and hold that umber paint. And so it's only going to stay in those indentations because you can't possibly get a baby wipe in there all the way in to get all the paint out. One of the things that I realized while I was adding on the umber paint was that the umber over the blues and greens was actually looking very purple, and so I decided to use that to my advantage. I did want my Seahorse to have a little bit of shine and glimmer to it, so I decided to spray it with some Lindy Stamp Gang Glitz Spray in Vivacious Violet. Since I opted not to add any embellishments over top of my Seahorse, I did find that it needed a little bit of something. So I found some blue micro beads in my stash, and I went ahead and added them on with 13 Arts matte gel media. And that holds them very well in place. I only did the inside edge of the ridges. And once I was done with that, I went back in with some more of the gel medium, and I added 13 Arts mica flakes in purple over top, and I did just the indentations all the way down the body. And that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for a few more close-ups, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.